trauma of those they allegedly victimized. Hashtag JoySMS, and she tweets at Joy997FM. At Kojo Edu says, yesterday at lunch, the question that came up was, why don't the ladies report sexual harassment? And my answer was, we as a society like shaming victims instead of protecting them. Hashtag sex for grades. At Renew Africa, good morning, Anna Meya says, university is not the only destination of secondary education. Okay, she's commenting on something we said during the news review. Lawrence_B says, this also comes to mind. Does anyone survive these undercover investigations? Well, we'll ask Kiki Modi when she joins us on the show today. But Doc, let me first get your initial comment on the story. When you first heard of it, when you first saw it, how did you react? In a minute, please.
How did I react? Well, I thought this was a good omen for the university because we had something on tape to use as evidence. Because one of the issues that disturb us is the fact that you actually struggle to have victims report. If you have 10 people who are going through such situations, you'll be lucky if you have 2 of them reporting.
Why?
I don't know why. We've tried as a committee to sensitize the university community, create awareness, educate them, let them, give them all the assurances that if you report, you embolden yourself. If you refuse to report, you embolden the perpetrator. So talk to us, and we will be on your side. We investigate, but somehow they don't come. A few of them who come, we do the best that we can to ensure that their cases are thoroughly investigated, and we recommend sanctions to the VC, and he applies those sanctions.
How many cases have you investigated this year?
This year, as the beginning of this academic year, or we know when we say this year.
Let's deal with calendar year. Familiar with our
calendar year. I think we're looking at about 6 cases.
6 cases in the university.
In the university.
That's on the low side, isn't it?
Exactly. From what we hear, because the rumors are rife as to how many situations are happening around us, but rumors are rumors.
Were these persons involved penalized?
Oh, yes.
All the lecturers in there?
You know, we always want to say all the lecturers, but you know, there are situations where we have student violence.
Oh, okay.
There's sexual harassment involving students. In fact,
that's true.
The majority of cases that come before us are involving students.
Could it be that it's because they have more confidence to report their fellow students and lecturers?
Well, I won't be able to tell. But we've had cases where students have reported their lecturers, and we've investigated.
Right. Dr. Margaret Amwako-Hine will be with us for the better part of the morning. But let's see. Let's see, first of all, this breath of fresh air as you describe it. Let's catch a glimpse of what happened, or listen to a bite of what happened really involving Professor Ransford Jampo and the other University of Ghana lecturers. And then we will be speaking with Kiki Modi, who was the producer of this documentary, and Dr. Amwako-Hine is also with us in studio. Stay with us.
Of all the lecturers in the University of Ghana, one stands out for his power and influence. Political scientist and outspoken commentator, Professor Ransford Jampo. He enjoys a great reputation as a teacher among his students. But he's also been at the center of allegations of sexual harassment. We sent an undercover journalist known as Abigail to meet him. Posing as a University of Ghana student from a poor background, she attended one of Jampo's classes. He agreed to become her mentor. She wrote him essays to review, visited his office 3 times, and he gave her good feedback on her academic work.
So the German situation, academic freedom. So Google what we mean by academic freedom in the first place.
Not everything felt normal. Professor Jampo wanted her to wear high heels in his office. And then, one Sunday afternoon, Abigail received a strange phone call from him.
Hello.
How are you?
Fine, thank you.
He began to tease her and accuse her of always being formal around him.
Formal. You want to talk about work, nothing else. It's sabudenche.
Abigail tried her best not to upset Jampo, who became increasingly personal and said he wanted to come over to her house.
Who is not married and doesn't want a decent lady who is also caring? Who of them want?
She reminded him she was a student and told him she wasn't interested in a relationship.
Well, right now, that's why I'm not really interested.
But Professor Jampo ignored this.
Well, prepare your mind because I'll be coming very soon.
Eventually, Abigail managed to persuade him to meet in a public place, a mall, instead of her home later that evening. We knew we would have to be cautious. Long before Abigail met Professor Jampo, we interviewed a number of his former students who alleged they had been sexually harassed by him. One of them, who we shall call Na, agreed to anonymously speak to us on camera.
So, you need to build up and call them into squares. You can call them.
Na told us she was sexually harassed twice by Jampo. She alleges the second incident took place when she went to confront him about the first harassment.
I felt it was my responsibility to let him know that what he did wasn't okay with me. So I went to him. He apologized and he tried to console me, and in consoling me, he attempted touching me. I was dumbfounded. I just couldn't believe that a moment ago he was apologizing and the next moment he was on top of me trying to touch my breast, hold me, that kind of things.
And that is an excerpt of that BBC documentary, Sex for Grades. We have with us on the line Kiki Modi, who is the one who was narrating the documentary, the producer herself. And of course, with us in studio still is Dr. Margareta Mwakohene, who is the chair of the Anti-Sexual Harassment Committee of the University of Ghana. Good morning, Kiki. Thanks for joining us.
Good morning. Thank you so much for having me.
In the first place, what informed this documentary? Why did you decide to do it?
Oh, there were hundreds. We had hundreds of requests from the general public reaching out to Africa Eye team to investigate, to make their next investigation the one of sexual harassment. So yes, that's one of the reasons, one of the many reasons we decided to look into sexual harassment.
Would ask that you raise your voice slightly for us, Kiki. But apart from the reports that you received, you also have been a victim before.
Yes, I have been a victim of sexual harassment at university. So I thought, I as a journalist, I had a duty to use my voice to uncover the sort of sexual harassment that happens in universities.
Being someone who has been a victim before, when you were investigating this, you were approached by a lecturer. How was that for you?
How was that, sorry?
How was that for you, having to relive the experience that was so traumatizing for you in the past?
It couldn't have been easy. No, it wasn't easy. But it was also reinforcing for me. It also reminded me that you have to do this. This is the problem, and this is a brazen problem, and you also have to do something about this. It was just a reminder for me, and it renewed my strength and my conviction.
We'll touch on that subject briefly a bit later on this morning, but let's ask, what methods did you use for this investigation, and for what reason?
Well, it would be difficult for me to describe the methods without spending the whole day, but I'll say that we have a strict BBC policy, editorial policy, where our methods are by the book. So we spent 9 months gathering evidence from various universities, not just in Nigeria and Ghana, various universities, independent journalists in all these spaces, gathering evidence before we even thought about who we're going or where we're going. We're all looking for evidence, we're looking for testimonies from people who are willing to talk to us and tell us their stories. And then with the amount of evidence that we gathered, we knew we had to go towards these schools that we ended up with. And that's how we use, that's the method we use. 9 months gathering evidence, researching, and then over a year completely for the whole project. Before we could wrap up the entire project, it took us over a year.
So it's this research What did you find there that made you choose University of Lagos and University of Ghana, and specifically the lecturers that you targeted?
Well, I obviously can't say in detail exactly what I found, but we found shocking amount of evidence that that led us to saying that, oh, we definitely have to go investigate these places, and the evidence led us to exactly where we went to. So the evidence pointed to us. We found shocking amount of testimony. We had screenshots, audio recordings, video recordings. People who were able to get these things, came to us and showed us these evidences and this evidence, and we definitely didn't put them in the line of fire. We decided as journalists we do our own uncovering ourselves.
So why did you decide to go and do an uncovering yourself as opposed to telling the story of these persons who had brought you evidence?
Well, we have a culture of shaming, even in Ghana as well, and in Nigeria and in Ghana, and in most parts of West Africa that I know. I've been a journalist for 6 years, over 6 years, and I've been, in the media, and I know all the things that I campaign for, including fair reporting for victims. And this is the power of investigations, and this is the power of film, this is the power of documentaries. If people have come out for years, people keep coming out to tell their stories, and it always ends in the victim being shamed. And I decided to use my tool as a journalist, my voice, and to go into this space to uncover the truth and not putting anybody at harm's way, not putting any of the victims through anything. They have told their stories, and they deserve their stories to be taken to the next level. So, yeah, that's it. A lot of people have, if you're looking for victim testimony, there is an abundance of that in the media. And it always ends with the women being shamed. In my country, we had Monica Osage, who came out to tell her story. And for a very long time, she was unable to get a job. She was unable to just live freely because she was being bullied and harassed. So we decided to take that smokescreen away from the victim and transfer it to us as journalists, as professionals.
So some questions have been raised about these methods, and it didn't start with you, honestly. They call it entrapment because you willfully approach these lecturers and say, try to bait them to do these things.
Well, no, it wasn't entrapment. It was no such thing. And again, we didn't bait any lecturer. I remember I told you we spent 9 months investigating all of before we even considered secret filming, before we even considered that this is what we're going to do or we're going to wear body cameras. We spent all that time gathering evidence around the people that we eventually recorded, like around you. Like we didn't randomly target anyone. Anybody that we uncovered in the film, it's because we had a humongous amount of evidence, even more that you can see on the film. And which, by the way, I would recommend people go check it out because there are snippets that have been flying all over social media. People need to see the full-length film. It's on our YouTube at BBC Africa. You need to see the progression of how everything went down. So many of the questions can be answered in the full film, actually. The full film is almost an hour. I know we've been saying a couple of minutes on social media, but we need to go check that one out. So no, it was not entrapment. The evidence included dozens of interviews with current and former students. We had first-hand accounts of abuse. We had recordings of conversations. We had text messages, screenshots. And, nobody was led on. All our undercover staff were professionals. They always sought clarity. That's why I said they should watch the film. You'd hear them seeking clarity wherever they felt like the lecturer or the professor had said something that was seen as inappropriate. They always tried to seek clarity, and they always stuck to education and academic matters. Conversation was always around academic matters. It was the lecturers themselves who tried to take the conversation away from academia to personal matters.
So what you're saying is that in the entire course of this investigation, your undercover agents entered into this relationship with academic purposes. They maintained the conversation in that professional manner, and then the lecturers progressed it to other areas.
I assure you, the BBC has a very strict editorial guideline and policy that all of these staff, all of these women adhere to at every point in time.
Now, Prof. Jampo has been granting interviews on the back of this documentary, even before it aired, and he insists that for the lady who approached him, for instance, she was texting him every morning, saying good morning, saying hi, making overtures to suggest that perhaps this was a place he could feel comfortable and this was someone he could approach in such form.
I beg your pardon, can you repeat that?
I was saying that Prof. Jampo in an interview has said that he actually maintained contact with this lady, and this lady was texting him every morning, saying hi, creating the impression that she was someone who would see him as more than just a lecturer or an academic helper.
Again, I stand by my professional team. We had a team of investigators both in Nigeria and Ghana, and the women in Ghana did brilliantly well, stuck by the code of conduct at all times. Same thing with Nigeria. So our BBC is very strict, one of the strictest in the world actually. Code of conduct would not allow unprofessional behavior from our undercover journalists. So I definitely stand by them. I stand by whatever they did. I believe in their work, and I'm proud of what we did.
So you're saying that this did not happen? What Prof. Jampo is saying did not happen?
What didn't happen?
What Prof. Jampo is saying, these text messages that may have suggested in any way did not happen.
The evidence is what we have. The evidence is in the full-length film, and I think I also mentioned that we have even more than what is on the film. So if you can watch the full-length documentary, some of these questions have been answered there already. We see the behavior of the lecturer change every time a conversation of academics was brought up. So no, it was always a conversation of academics. You're my lecturer, you're my mentor, and you have to help me out with this, and you have to help me out with that.
Right. So, Kiki, when you uncovered the evidence that you had, in the first place, some have also said that you made a misrepresentation of your true identity. What would you say to that?
Misrepresentation? In what sense?
When you went and your agents went and presented themselves as these people who are students when they are really not students and whatever.
Break the law, if that's what you're asking. We had a humongous amount of evidence that granted us permission to go and secretly record for uncovering purposes, for investigative purposes. So yes, none of us were bearing our original identities. I also went undercover, and I wasn't bearing my name. I was called Amaka, but my name is Kiki.
Great. So just to try and understand some of the allegations that have been made so that we clear it up for the audience to understand, some have also said, and in fact this was by Prof himself, that this lady did not even present herself as his student, and so he knew that he was not in a position to influence her academic future in any way.
Everyone went in for academic purposes. Everyone went in seeking national service placement, seeking academic help from lecturers. Only what the lecturers could provide.
But he says that this lady was not his student, and so he could not have given her grades in exchange for sex.
She went in seeking academic help, and which I'm sure you are aware that the University of Ghana sexual harassment policy is against. If someone comes in seeking academic help, as much as possible, you have to conduct yourself in a professional manner at all times. And yes, I was solely invested in the investigations from Nigeria. I went in, and simultaneously, while we were investigating in Nigeria, we had a team in Ghana. So the things that I did, the things that I oversaw, was the investigations that happened in Nigeria.
Okay.
Right? So, again, if you have seen the film, you'll see that I go over to Ghana to meet with my undercover operative to tell her to put me up to speed with what has been going on in Ghana while I was in Nigeria.
Okay.
And that was the report. That's backed up with the video evidence and recordings as well.
Yes, of course, and we have seen the film. It's just that we would like to bring some clarity to some of the issues that have been raised, because again,
all right.
Yes, the person accused has also spoken, and he has made accusations of you and the methods which you used, which we are simply pushing forward.
Position, I would say we stand by our evidence, and that's it. We stand by our evidence. That's it.
Okay, so if I can understand what you're saying, the person who went to him presented herself as someone who wants academic favor in terms of, national service placement or help academically, and
yes,
and your position is that Prof. Jampo exploited this to demand sexual favors from her. Hello.
We had 2 professors from the Ghana side. We uncovered 2 professors from the Ghana side.
Prof. Butako and Prof. Jampo.
Yes, in both cases, they had young women coming to them for academic help of variations of various kinds of academic help, basically, and they leveraged on that position. And from what we can see in the film, it was them being in that position to help it was in that space that they decided to make whatever advances that they made. So that is what is evident in the film.
So in previous Africa Eye investigations, we've seen that official complaints were lodged with authorities. For instance, with the number 12 documentary, FIFA was notified, GFA was notified, the government was notified. Has this been done in this case?
Well, I didn't oversee that thing, so I can't comment on that. But for this documentary, before it was released, we contacted the university who definitely is in charge of this. We also contacted the professors, and we contacted the university, and we're hoping that they do what needs to be done. And thankfully, we have been speaking with a number of people, a number of policy makers and changers, and we're hoping that as well they do something about this. Because in truth, we are journalists. We're not the police and we're not the government. Our job is to uncover the truth, which we have, and the government, the police, the judiciary, they should do with that information what they will.
So when you contacted the University of Ghana for comment, and I know you put this in a documentary, but for the sake of some of my listeners who may not have seen it, what was their response?
Well, they need to see it. It's a very long response. It's not something that I can read out here. But yes, what's the question?
I'm asking that if you can give us a summary of what the University of Ghana said in response to these allegations that you put before them.
Well, the response is a legal document, and I can't summarize it for the purpose of I may leave things out. So you're going to have to listen to the full thing on the film. That is even an abridged version as well, but it's the legally approved abridged version. So yes, that's it.
Right, Kiki, thanks. But did you go did your agents go as a student of the University of Ghana?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Did your agents go as a student of the University of Ghana?
All my agents went in Nigeria. The agents went in as students. In Ghana, one went seeking for masters, and one went in as a student, and the other went in for masters. One went in as a past student seeking masters and national service placement. I think the equivalent of that in Nigeria is National Youth Service Corps. So yeah.
Yeah, so there are 2 cases. With the Dr. Butako's case, one was a final year student who went in to seek help with masters. And yes, but I would like to ask, because with the other one, with Prof. Jampo's case, she went in to seek help with some academic work that she was doing. I wanted to know if she went as a student of the University of Ghana. Did she go as a student of the University of Ghana?
No, she can't. No, she didn't.
Right.
She went in. Yes, she went in seeking help in the University of Ghana.
Okay, but not as a student of that university.
Sorry?
But not as a student of that university.
No, one of them was a student. One of them was an ex-student looking to transfer or seeking clarity rather.
Okay. So I'm sorry. The answer is not really clear to me from where I sit. Did she go as a student of the University of Ghana? If I can get a yes or no on that.
So I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I didn't catch
I'm saying that if I can get a yes or no on this, because the answer is not very clear for me. Did the students that approached Prof. Jampo go as a student of the University of Ghana?
This was the film. Please, would you refer to the film?
Okay, so let me make reference. Let me make reference to the first approach, the first time that Prof. Jampo was approached. And if you crave my indulgence for just a few seconds, I'm going to play the first few minutes of the tape for us all to listen. Hold on a moment.
Of all the lecturers in the University of Ghana, one stands out for his power and influence. Political scientist and outspoken commentator, Professor Ransford Jampo. He enjoys a great reputation as a teacher among his students. But he's also been at the center of allegations of sexual harassment. We sent an undercover journalist known as Abigail to meet him. Posing as a University of Ghana student from a poor background, she attended one of Jampo's classes. He agreed to become her mentor. She wrote him essays to review, visited his...
Right, so that was... Yes, that was
Abigail.
your... Yes, that was Abigail who approached Prof. Jampo?
Yes, as a University of Ghana student. Yes, exactly.
Beautiful. Thank you very much, Kiki, for joining us this morning.
Thank you so much.
Beautiful. That's it's 5 minutes past 8 now. This is the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. We've been joined by Malaka Grant as well. Good morning, Malaka.
Daniel.
How's everything?
Everything's great. How are you?
Beautiful. I am blessed. We still have with us in the studio Dr. Margaret Amwako-Hene, and we'll be dealing a bit further with these issues. Now, of course, if you don't know, Malaka is an author, blogger whose work has been featured on This Is Africa, NPR, My Brown Baby. She's a co-founder of Adventures from the Bedrooms of African Women, which she would be enlightening us about a bit later in the show. But we want to take a few quick messages. When we come back, before we continue with Doc, we'll go to University of Ghana campus to see how students themselves understand these issues that we are talking about from the perspective of students. What is happening there? Stay with us. We'll be right back.
When times are hard, when you're stressed and down, GT Bank is here to lift you up again. But no matter who you are, no matter where you are, quick credit's got instant cash that's just for you. Sort out your bills and support your business anytime you need it. Just get it by dialing *737 *0#. *737 *0#. *737 *0#.
Borrow up to 100% of your salary and pay within 30 days at an incredible interest rate of 2%. Get instant cash in 2 minutes or less with no paperwork, no collateral, no banking hold. Simply dial *737 *0# to get started. Guarantee Trust Bank. Wouldn't you rather bank with us?
Ma, please give me your phone. Let me make a quick call.
So you're still on that network that gives you fair data and talk time, where Vodafone has double the Red 1, Red 2, and Red 5 offers. For 5 CDs, Chikra. You get 250 minutes to call all networks, 250 megabytes data, and more.
I'm moving to Vodafone today. Switch to Vodafone to enjoy double Intuswar on Red bundles of 1, 2, and 5 CDs. Enjoy double talk minutes to call all networks and double data to browse. Vodafone always gives you more. Dial *200# to subscribe now. Terms and conditions apply.
The future is exciting. Ready? Comfort, durability, finishing, quality. Choosing sofas and beds for your home, office, or hotel couldn't be easier with an exclusive range of sofas and beds in various designs and colors from latex foam. There is so much choice, whatever your budget. Latex foam, your partner for life.
How would you use $50,000 to start a business that makes a difference in the agricultural sector? Apply for the Cosmos Innovation Center 2020 Agri-Tech Challenge and pitch your business ideas along with other passionate entrepreneurs. If you're a graduate between the ages of 20 and 35 years, the 2020 Agritech Challenge is for you. Receive world-class entrepreneurship and leadership training, mentoring, and business incubation. Visit www.cosmosinnovationcenter.com or go to the Cosmos Innovation Center page on Facebook between now and the 15th of November 2019 to apply. Cosmos Innovation Center, investing in the future, one entrepreneur at a time.
Enjoy fast, affordable, and dependable 4G service in Accra and Tema, in your office, home, or on the go. Contact Telesol today on 0302 221 658 or 9 or 0303 975 342 or more, or our website telesol4g.com, or send us an email through enquiry@telesol4g.com. Telesol 4G, just a touch.
Hello, I am Michael, and I run the shop just down the road from your house. You know, the one you always come to when you need things like milk, sugar, gari, and other things. I'm also your Cow Bank agent with whom you can do all your banking transactions. So the next time you visit my shop to get anything, just remember that you can now open your Cow Bank Snap account right here. Make cash deposits and withdrawals, transfer funds, and also pay your bills easily. All you need to open an account is any valid national ID and your fingerprint. Just look out for your Cow Bank agent in your neighborhood, or look out for any registered Cow Bank agent sign and enjoy easy banking with Cow Bank Agent Banking. Contact us toll free on 0800 500 500 or visit www.cowbank.net for more information. Cow Bank Agent Banking, your neighborhood bank.
Cow Bank, forward together.
Our mommy always wants us to be strong.
She wants us to have enough energy to start the day. Yay!
That's why I give them the richer and creamier Cadbury Rich Choco every day.
And we love it! Yay!
Enjoy your deliciously rich and creamy Rich Choco, made from the finest Ghanaian cocoa, milk, and sugar.
Yummy!
Rich Choco, made from the finest Ghanaian cocoa. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Are you tired of driving around just to find a travel agent? Or are you that person who calls your travel agent only to hear the phone say,
Okay, sorry, we don't close. You fit call us tomorrow for booking.
or you be that person where they make last-minute travel arrangements? Don't worry no more, because Malcolm Travels gives you the opportunity at your own convenience to make your own travel bookings anywhere, anytime, 24/7. Oh yeah, at Malcolm Travels, we give you the best travel deals anytime, anywhere on your mobile phone. Charlie, the days of Wahala and late travel bookings are over. Jack, what are you waiting for? Just log on to www.malcolmtravels.com and make your own bookings now. Malcolm Travels, booking anytime, anywhere at your own convenience. Just log on www.malcolmtravels.com.
Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. Ooh, Daddy, don't touch me.
12 minutes past 8. Thanks for staying with us. This is the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Here in the studio with Malaka Grant and Dr. Margaret Amwako-Hene.
I wonder why my daddy had
Sex for grades.
away my innocence. Oh, sometimes I wanna die
How do we root it out of the system?
for me and it's
We've already spoken to the producer of that BBC Africa Eye documentary, Kiki Mordi,
happy as I seem to be the long shower.
going through some of the questions that have been raised, some of the opposition that have been raised to the work that she's done as well.
So we go through struggles in life on my way, but to have my daddy touch it.
And we're going to ask ourselves what the university has done and must do.
Joy in my future.
But before we do that,
Please behave.
if you have quick credits from GT Bank, you can borrow up to 100% of your monthly salary instantly at only 2% interest rate for 30 days. Just dial *737 *0#. Select payday credits, agree to the terms and conditions, enter and confirm your PIN, and the requested amount will be credited to your GT Bank account instantly. Just dial *737 *0# now to access quick credit. If you're a salaried GT Bank customer, contact us on 0302 611 560 or 0800 124 000 For more information, T's and C's apply. Send money to your family and friends for free on Ghana's most secure mobile money operator, Vodafone Cash. There's absolutely no charge when you send money from Vodafone Cash to Vodafone Cash. Just dial *110# to send money on your Vodafone Cash today and enjoy this amazing offer. Vodafone Cash, always safe and secure. Vodafone. The future is exciting. You ready?
Me just can't find a name.
Our Telesol has 4G internet service to meet business, home, and on-the-go needs. This is 4G data not only on your phone and handheld devices, but also extended for use in offices and homes. If you live at Airport Residential Area, Laboni Ridge Cantonment Jolu, or other locations, you can call them on 0303 975 342 or 344. Email on inquiry@telesol4g.com to find out about fiber broadband. Telesol, just a touch. 14 minutes past 8. I made a promise when we were going on the break that we would hear what the students themselves think about this issue that we were talking about. There's been varied conversation on social media especially, but let's take a step to campus now. Nancy Emefa Jadosi spoke to a number of students and asked them what do they understand about sexual harassment, what options do they know are available to them, and what do they think about this story. Listen.
I think the people who are caught should be penalized, but it will still go on.
Okay, it's a good thing that's come up because we believe it has been going on. Because normally for guys like this, and then we put all the hard work, but the thought of seeing ladies excel without so much hard work is kind of fun. Because we burn all the night and someone just uses a one-night stand to make the grades. And looks like my all nights are wasted. It's kind of funny. So no matter what you do, it's still going to happen. So yeah.
Actually, the other time, I was going to a friend of mine outside campus, and the lecturer picked me up and dropped me there. Then onwards, he told me to come and see him in his office and stuffs.
Stuffs? What stuffs?
Anytime I go there, he asked me if I'm okay. If I'm okay, and do I have class? Do I have lectures? Do I have all the books? If I want to print any stuff, I can come to him and he will do it for me.
This particular story is about my lecturer.
Oh, so you're saying that the excerpt you've seen, the man in that particular story is your lecturer?
That's my lecturer.
What do you know about him?
I didn't expect this from him. Honestly, I'm very surprised because he seemed strict, too strict for that. He jovial sometimes, but then not too strict for that. But the proof that I've seen, I'm surprised. So some are saying that some haven't actually watched the video. They think it's just a student scandal going on because we students do things like this sometimes. So some are saying we should pray for him. Maybe it's the work of the devil. Some are laughing. They're saying, oh, they finally caught him and stuff like that. So
it has been going on for so many years and nobody has taken the initiative to voice it out. A lot of students go through it that they can't tell anybody, they keep it to themselves, and it serves as it disturbs the way their whole life on campus because of this kind of harassment, and they don't know who to confide in. So if this is the opportunity for people to actually voice out, I think there's a thumbs up goes to the person who is investigating all these things.
But what do you think should be done by the university management to ensure that we don't have incidents like this happening?
They should go with immediate effect, evacuate the premises wherever they are, because there's room for so many people who are willing to occupy such positions who aren't corrupt, and the corrupt have been in this position for so long and are beginning to take advantage of it, and that's what we are seeing now.
Yes, so those are some views of students of the University of Ghana, Legon. Let's speak to their lecturer now. In fact, the head of the Anti-Sexual Harassment Committee, Dr. Margaret Amoakohini. Of course, Malika Grant is also still with us in studio. Doc, in the first place, you were telling me earlier that you were happy when you saw this documentary because it finally gave some evidence to some of the things that you were looking for. And you've only received about 6 cases or such on your committee this entire calendar year. So on the back of what your students are saying, that this is prevalent, what does it tell you? Are we doing something wrong, perhaps?
Well, what it tells me is that our students are not reporting cases to us. And I don't know why they're not reporting cases to us. Because if you are suffering harassment and you don't report, I don't get to know, I don't investigate. We try to encourage them to report because, as I said earlier, if you don't report, you embolden the perpetrator to continue harassing you. But if you report, the person knows that he's being watched, or he or she, because I need to correct this. It's not only men who harass women. Women harass men. And in fact, we have seen cases of students harassing lecturers. And so when we leave it at lecturers harassing students, we miss part of the story. And what we are saying is whoever is involved, report to us and let's investigate. Let's apply the sanctions. Let's deter others from doing the same things. Because if it goes unreported, then no sanctions are applied. And people then are brazen about the things that they do. So maybe the students will have to take a cue and report to us what the cases are.
So in the case where, and I'm going to read for you an interesting opinion that a lecturer has put out, Claubieri Kasati, just to the points that you raised earlier about the fact that it's possible for students to harass students and the fact that to harass lecturers and the fact that they must come forward as well. She says that one thing our society is often unwilling to acknowledge is that in the case of sexual harassment or inappropriate sexual relations between a person in authority and the person they have authority over, the responsibility always lies with the person in authority. In this case, a lecturer as against a student. So if a student walks naked to your office and begs for it, it's the job of the lecturer to decline. You stand in a position of power over the student. You wield authority over the student. It is you, the lecturer, who have the responsibility to be fair in your assessment of the students and to ensure that none gets an unfair advantage. But you see, when there are no, and this is the part, when there are no consequences for such misdeeds, the ridiculous sense of entitlement in certain cases is a matter for another discussion. So she's a lecturer in a university and she maintains that there are no consequences. The responsibility is solely with the lecturer, but there are no consequences, so they go ahead.
That's not correct. I don't know which university she's talking about. I think she teaches at Gimpa.
Yes,
at the University of Ghana, there are consequences for misbehavior. And that is the whole point about the policy and the whole point about the committee that has been put together, and that educates people, creates awareness, and also investigates and recommends sanctions. So you cannot get away with this at the University of Ghana when it's reported. But I want to step back a little bit. I am looking at the title of this documentary and I'm asking, are they trying to clean everybody with the same brush? Because seriously, the cases that they painted, where are the grades involved? Because the students who went there were they students? One of them was seeking national service placement. At the level of national service placement, we are not talking grades. In the other case, Jampo insists this person said, I'm not your student, but I need you to mentor me. And if the person is not your student, how do you give them grades? Okay. And that is why, as part of the conduct, the code of conduct for senior members, you are not supposed to have any amorous relationship with your students. And so we are not saying that what they did was there was nothing wrong with it. There was a lot wrong with what they did. But the title of the documentary really is misplaced. It doesn't address the issues that are involved. But we as a committee look at it seriously, and we've already started investigations.
What has been done?
Oh, this thing just came up. I think the Vice Chancellor was notified last week about the documentary. And since we got it, in fact, immediately he called the two gentlemen to tell him their side of the story, ask them to respond. And so we have their responses with us, and he's referred the case to us, and we have started investigations. We are looking at them. I had not heard about these before. I'll be honest with you. I hadn't heard about the two gentlemen involved. Because in the case of one, he only became a member of our community from January 2016.
Which one?
Dr. Butako. January 2016. And so I just thought, he's too new for this. But anyway, it doesn't matter how new you are. I mean, these things can happen if they must happen. Anyway, so we are investigating them. And I can tell you the university will apply the sanctions because the University of Ghana does not tolerate such behaviors. And so if she's talking about allowing people to go, not at the University of Ghana. And then people also talk about the fact that sometimes the victims are the ones who have to live with shame. And my response is that the victims live with shame when they don't report. But if you report, we turn the shame on the perpetrator. And there are people who have been dismissed from the University of Ghana. They have been dismissed.
The University of Lagos has already asked the lecturer involved to step aside. Why can't the University of Ghana do the same?
Why you say why can't? The University of Ghana will respond. We saw the video last night.
But you've already been informed of what has happened. The VC has gone ahead to ask these lecturers their side of the story.
Yes, because the BBC sent to the lecturers the transcript of what they were supposed to bring. And BBC kept telling us that there were more students, there were more allegations. And so we're looking for the documentary. In fact, I was disappointed because when I watched the documentary, I was looking for something more than what I saw, because they kept threatening us about how pervasive it was and how many instances they had on tape and all that. But you bring us two. I'm not saying that even if it's one is not enough, but I'm saying the investor was waiting to see the documentary. At the meeting yesterday, we said, well, let's wait for the documentary and then let's respond. The investor will issue a press release today.
So when you use the word threatened, why do you say that the BBC was threatening?
Well, threatening about how many cases they had and the fact that we're going to expose. And we said we are interested in those exposures. In fact, we've written to the BBC to make the evidence available to us. But they said, no, we can't make it available to you. What you find in the documentary is what we make available. But unused material, you have to write to us through the legal department. The investor is going to write to them for evidence that they have. Because the more evidence we have, the better it is for our investigations.
You have already said in this conversation that it finally brings, and you use the expression, the word evidence, to what you have suspected so far.
Yes, that was what we were expecting to have. Yes. But what I'm saying is that there's evidence to show that there's inappropriate behavior going on. But evidence of sex for grades, we did not find in the documentary.
Let me turn to Malaka now for her comments. You've heard the initial position of the University of Ghana as expressed by the head of the Anti-Sexual Harassment Committee. What do you make of this issue?
I think that we have a culture of fear in this country, specifically around the area of sex. And I think that it clouds our judgment a lot. And, I was really struck by what you said when you said that, that the cases that are being reported are really minimal.
Yeah.
And I think that that's because people are really afraid to come forward because of that shame that we put on the victims. If you look at Twitter right now, like my blood pressure is through the roof, just going through the comments. We're so quick to villainize and victimize and re-victimize victims. And even in the reporting process, it's really difficult for people to come forward. And you don't really have the confidence that this committee is going to be on your side, even though that's the mandate that they put forward. And I think that it's something that we really need to consider and think about as a nation. How considerate are we, not just in this area, but in general, about people's agency?
When you say people's agency, what do you mean?
I mean, I'll just take for instance. I know that, for example, my body as a Ghanaian woman is up for public consumption. It's up for public critique. I don't really have a sense of agency outside of what if I don't have pride in myself. The narrative and the kind of conversations that people have about my body as a woman really make me feel, less than. And I know that that's not something that I experience alone. It's a lot of conversations that we have as individuals, as women in groups. And it's just part of a culture that has continued since, for as long as I've been alive. And that's what I mean by agency.
Do you feel that this is perpetrated by the current systems that we have to protect victims in this country?
Or the current systems that we don't have to protect victims in this country? Absolutely. When you think about the process of going through reporting a rape, for instance, you're forced to go and purchase the form at the police station. Even when you're going to talk to the police officer, it's not with kindness and with care. It feels like an interrogation, and it really puts people off. And or the whole culture of trying to solve things within a house, or even blaming victims before, well, why did you wear that? And why is your hair so long? Or, if you didn't have fingernails that look like this, maybe you wouldn't be so attractive. And so we have this culture that, makes people feel like, they can't be them full selves, men and women. because we have a skewed view of sex and sexuality. And I think it even goes back to the whole CSE conversation as well. And that the fact that this documentary has come out at this moment, I think is really powerful, because these are twin issues that we need to discuss.
Interesting. I'll explore that link that you have. Doc, I know there's a thought at the edge of your mind that you'd like to put in.
Yeah, I just want her to know that this is part of the reason why we go through sensitization each time there's an orientation.
Mm-hmm.
So you will find me telling students, it doesn't matter what the person wears, because that's not your business. You are not a clothing policeman on campus. If you can't watch, turn away and go. And then as to whatever the body presents, if it's indecent, the university itself will say, this is indecent behavior. You don't police anybody and recommend attire for people. And all those traditional things about women always, you have to say the same thing, maybe multiple times for them to say yes. We tell them this is the university context. And you don't bring anything from your home to this place, because we don't accept it. Because part of the committee is to say that this is a new community you've come to join, and this is what the community says is allowed, this is what is not allowed, and we try to educate them about those things. And so we don't victimize the victim. In fact, what we try to do is embolden the victim. And for as long as they've come to us, including first year students, actually, when they come to us and they realize that there's support for them, they're emboldened to stand up to whatever is going on. And especially when there are points where we allow them to face off. And you should be there to see a young girl facing off with a lecturer. You did this, and you see issues about sexual harassment usually is about your word against my word.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always so difficult for you to tell that, well, this person did what he's alleged to have said. Unless you have the evidence to prove, and unless you have them facing off, then you're able to tell who is lying and who is not lying. And I'm saying that once we have proved that this thing happened, we tell you what is wrong about what you did, and the fact that you have to be sanctioned, and what the sanctions ought to be. And once we recommend the sanctions to the VC, he actually applies the sanctions, and the person faces up to whatever the results of his actions are.
The recall that I seem to be coming at repeatedly is that there's a space between students saying this is something that happens and authorities saying we never get reports, and so there's nothing we can do about it.
Well, but it's not really saying that we have an abyss. The students are telling us this is widespread. And some lecturers have heard, and so they are saying this is widespread. And I will repeat and say it is widespread. But how many cases are reported to us? There are very few.
Why should we wait for reports?
What else do you want us to do?
You are the head of the committee. It's your job to ensure that every student who goes there feels safe. They don't. So why should we wait?
They don't feel safe where? At the committee?
Not at the committee, on the school campus. I mean,
why don't they feel safe? But we are saying that feel safe enough to come and tell us. That is the whole point about being at the orientation. Because at every orientation, be it of staff or students, we are there. And we do the presentation to you. We assure you that we are there to defend you. And we even tell them that at the point of the department, if you trust your head of department, the person can be the first point of contact. If you don't trust the head of department, go to the dean. If you don't trust any of them, go to the counseling center, and you find somebody there who will listen to you. Or go to CIGENSA, the Center for Gender Studies and Advocacy. There's somebody there to listen to you. And we tell them where our members are scattered for you to confide in them if you have a problem. But you see, if you don't come and report, and you are dealing with a campus of over 40,000 students, what can anybody do?
Why, for instance, have we not publicized the lecturers who have been penalized as a result of this?
Why are you limiting it to lecturers? Why wouldn't you say perpetrators? Because that would it will widen the gap to include students who have been
publicizing the perpetrators.
Well, that's the question for senior management to answer.
You're a member of senior management?
I am not a member of senior management. I am chairperson of the Anti-Sexual Harassment and Misconduct Committee.
So you are responsible for ensuring that these students will feel safe?
We have made the recommendation to senior management. They have decided to let that, because they were also in dialogue with the lawyers as to the legal ramifications of such an action. And then also they are mindful of the students who are involved and the fact that you are dealing with very young adults whose future may be marred because of exposure. And you cannot determine that you want to publicize the names of lecturers and leave out names of students who are also perpetrators.
Why not? Those are our ethics as media men. We put out accused and we don't put out...
Well, because they are underage. But these students at the university, not all of them, most of them are not underage.
But here is the case where there are ways of encouraging persons by publicizing the names of the lecturers without shaming the students.
That is why the university has taken the decision now to do that.
To publicize the names of those accused?
And I'm saying, that is a decision that's beyond the committee, but I know the management has taken that decision.
Would you say that the methods that you're using now are effective, seeing the results you have?
I think they are.
What's your measure of success?
What do you mean?
Because you're looking you have effective methods. I'm asking, how have you evaluated your methods to make sure that they're effective?
No, we are asking the methods that we use, and we're saying that anytime there's a new member to the community, we approach the member and say, this is what we have here. This is what you can do. This is what you cannot do. These are the sanctions that will apply if you do this or if you don't do that. Okay? And then periodically we do that. And in fact, the policy is sent to every student. It's sent to every student. As to whether they read it or not, I won't be able to tell. And when schools have their orientation, we go there to make a presentation. So you can have a school orientation that doesn't have the committee represented. We go to the dean and we say, we need to make a presentation. Whether it's on a weekend or on a weekday, it doesn't matter. We do the representation. We go to city campus and we tell them that you are part of the university community. And in fact, at city campus, we have identified a link person to receive complaints and just channel them to us. So we are doing the best that we can. But as always, there's always room for improvement. And we are ready to improve and to make sure that students have that confidence in us. If the only reason they don't have confidence is the fact that people's names are not being published, then perhaps now that the senior management has taken the decision to publish, they'll be able to come out and tell us what their problems have been.
It was simply an example that came that some students suggested when we were having conversations with students in preparation for this program. But understandably so, and we know that there are many limitations that exist for a committee like yours. But you have gone through beautifully all of these methods that you use so far, which I'm a former student and I experienced some of these, not of UG though, but I experienced some of these methods myself. But I was simply asking that at the end of the year, if we want to look at how effective those methods have been, how do we measure them?
Well, I won't be able to tell you how to measure them, because all I can tell you is that cases that are brought to us, we are able to investigate and end those cases successfully. Because it's all about rumors. Okay. And rumors, anybody can start rumors. It can spread anywhere. But if you don't have anybody coming forward to say that this is what happened to me, and this is the evidence, or this is the witness to it, there's very little we can do as a committee.
Right, it's 25 minutes to the top of the hour. This is the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. Speaking with Dr. Margaret Amwako-Hene. She's the chair of the Anti-Sexual Harassment Committee. And Malika Grant is also here. She's an author and a blogger. And we are perusing this issue of sexual harassment of students. We know that imbalances of power in relationships really introduces an interesting dynamic whenever we are having these conversations. And so we'll take a few messages. When we come back, we've gone through the methods of sensitization and what the committee has done post-reporting. But when the report is made, what happens? How are the investigations done? What are the internal mechanisms in there? We'll go through that as well, so that if you're listening to us and you want to enter a university in Ghana, or you are in the university in Ghana, you know exactly what to do if the unfortunate happens. Stay with us.
In a world where everything is changing around you, sometimes you need to turn to someone you can trust. You want to move with a change in safe hands, and we are here to help. At Societe Generale Ghana, we understand change because we have transformed and evolved. No matter how our name may change, 43 years of retail and corporate banking expertise never changes, ensuring stability and trust. Digital innovation as the world moves forward to help you adapt, upgrade, and keep up. Bank with Societe Generale Ghana and enjoy doing your banking your way, whenever you choose, in our digital zones with cutting-edge digital banking products and quality services. You deserve a better bank and great rewards. We agree, the world only moves because you make it move. SG Ghana, the future is you.
Good afternoon, Auntie Cynthia. Please, I am Alex from Perspiration Insurance.
Cynthia, sa Pesciden Insurance no. My way.
Abrantie, Pesciden Insurance no. My way, Anna.
No, Auntie. However, our underwriting.
For
me, I said our underwriting compensation clauses contain.
Cynthia, my insurance for both I can see any wrong on bill. Dial *165#. When TN so say sia, na jeep my way life any disability insurance. And yet they say we better registration na se cry. Any 5 minutes impo. Musumi bia. Every 360 pesos per na wo hia. Cynthia, enya my way ka say no way.
Dial *165# on MTN to register and pay for My Way insurance from your Momo wallet for as little as 3 Ghana cedis, 60 pesos a month. My Way, simple life insurance on your mobile. Brought to you by My Life and MTN Momo.
In partnership with Joy FM, the National Theatre, Government Productions presents Annabelle White play, Not My Husband.
We will need you to donate some blood for her. Oh, gladly.
Please test his blood first. He has HIV/AIDS.
Ha! Then you gave it to me.
A poor man, so have you forgotten that when you married me, I was a virgin? I don't have AIDS.
A virgin, you say? Have you forgotten that on our honeymoon, when you stripped, there was echo everywhere, and darkness had covered the face of the deep, and the wind was blowing. I say, hey, Manso, where are you? I am here. Yeah! Virgin indeed.
Not My Husband shows on 5th, 6th, 12th, and 13th October at the National Theatre. Rate 80 Ghana cedis. Time 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Tickets available via short code *713*15# or *876*876# or visit Joy FM and all usual outlets. Sponsors: Bond Savings and Loan, Old Mutual, and Passion Air. Official ticketing partner, Ticket House. Buy your tickets now.
Download app, get it right. Do your business with pleasure. Yango, affordable. Yango, let's go. With 2 Ghana cities, the shortest possible distance. Yango, oh yeah, let's go. Yango, so just get a ride and feel so good with Yango.
Yango, let's go.
When you wake up in the morning before you start your day, breakfast time is Kellogg's time. For work and for play, for a great start to your day, breakfast time is Kellogg's time.
We always start our day with a nourishing Kellogg's breakfast, powered with the goodness of grains and 11 essential vitamins and minerals. Kellogg's makes a great tasting breakfast for all of us.
Now also available at just 1 Ghana cedi. This advertisement has been vetted and approved by the FDA.
Hooray! The big surprise is here. Are you a parent, a guardian, or JHS student moving on to SHS? Are you hoping to buy all items enlisted in your school prospectus from one shop without moving from one place to another? Are you looking for quality and affordable items for your ward's SHS admission and wondering where? Look no further. Prospectus Ghana Limited, your one-stop shop for all school items, is here. Buy directly from our shop on the Graphic Road opposite Toyota Ghana or call and place your order. Service delivery is available. Credit is available for everyone. Workers from both the formal and informal sectors. For all enquiries, call 0302-955-050 or 0302-955-030. We are at Prospectus Ghana Limited on all social media handles. Website www.prospectusghana.com. If it's your school prospectus, then Prospectus Ghana is where Ghana shops.
So everyone says I'm a Kosia filler, but it's not like I'm nosy or go out to find out the latest filler. It's just that I get 50 megabytes of data free after paying for only the first minute of every call. And so I just keep discovering stuff minute after minute. That's how come I was minding my business, scrolling through my timeline, and I found out Coco has a new baby. Oh, and last week I learned Ken won the lottery. You see, Ken is my brother's friend. So hello, look who's about to roll with the rich and famous.
Enjoy even more value with MTN Free After One. You only pay for the first minute of your call on MTN Free After One, and the rest is free. Plus, you enjoy free 50 megabytes worth of data to browse your favorite sites. Compare where, compare there. So dial *315# to sign up. We day for you everywhere you go. Terms and conditions apply.
Coffee in your cup and joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
reality, or is there? 0244340437. You tell me what you think. WhatsApp and Telegram numbers, that is. At Joy997FM is the Twitter handle. Joy99.7 FM is the Facebook page. Remember, the hashtag is JoySMS. Today's agenda is brought to you by Societe Generale SG Ghana. The future is you. Catch Not My Husband, showing for the second weekend in a row, 12th and 13th October. That's this Saturday and Sunday at 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. each day. The rate is 80 Ghana cedis. It's the latest Ebo White play. It's amazing. It's hilarious. I was there last weekend. You want to go yourself? Just dial star 713 star 15 hash. Also star 876 star 876 hash. You can call 050-554-6010, or if you want to WhatsApp 050-554-6030. Email tickets at rovermanproductions.com. Roverman Productions, be the difference.
I'm gonna tell on you.
Bring more smiles home with a Stanbic Money Wallet card, the only card that gives you access to 5 currencies at the same time. Spend $6,000 and above. Get a 2-night stay with spa treatment at Royal Senchi. Spend $3,000 and get a 1-night stay at Royal Senchi. Spend $1,000 and get a $100 voucher. Spend $500 and get a $50 voucher. When you spend 500 cedis on a single transaction in Ghana, you get a 50 CD voucher. Just load up to 5 currencies: British pounds, US dollars, euros, South African rand, and Ghana cedis. Shop and transact online or anywhere. And why stress? You can have all the money on one card. Visit our Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram pages at Stanbic Bank GH. Offer is valid whilst rewards last in September and October 2019. Prospectus Ghana Limited offers you a one-stop shop for all the items on your child's prospectus. These things are highly affordable. Credit is available for everyone, whether you're in the formal or informal sector, and you can order at the comfort of your home. Service delivery is available. We have everything SHS admission needs. Locate us on the Graphic Road, opposite Honda Ghana, opposite Toyota Ghana, and adjacent Honda. Visit our website prospectusghana.com. Contact us on 0302 955 050 or 030. Follow us Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Prospectus Ghana. So far we've been talking about the fact that we don't have as many people reporting cases as we'd like, and what could be causing those problems, and all of that, and the work of the Anti-Sexual Harassment Committee led by Dr. Margaret Amwakohene, who is our guest in studio this morning. Let me come to Malika Grants, because she's with us in studio as well, to give us an independent view of what's going on. So what's your take on the discussion so far?
Well, first of all, I want to say that I appreciate the work of the Anti-Sexual Harassment Committee. I think that it's really important. I think that it's an institution that I think we should have in all of our institutions, because I think this is part of a larger conversation. We're talking about sex for grades, but we know that we have a culture that demands fealty, from our youth, even from other adults, because of the power dynamics. That comes from church, it comes from home, it comes in the form of medicine. You don't dare disobey your doctor, whether you've done research on your body or your body itself. We just have this culture that demands fealty from people in positions of power. And, when you mentioned that you don't have as many cases reported as you would like, I think that that's something that really needs to be investigated further. Why is it that these students don't have confidence to come in and investigate that? And yes, we're in a new culture on a university campus, but you can't overcome years of conditioning from your home, from your church, from these other families of origin that you have that shape who you are, and then say, hey, now I'm a freshman student, I'm in a different environment, and so things are different. It just can't work that way. And so I think that beyond orientation, where I don't know if it's a one-off thing, or if it's something that they get reoriented every year, because I'm not familiar with the program. But I think that it would be helpful maybe to break it up and have peers discuss these things and have ongoing discussions outside of that one orientation in the beginning. I don't know, that's something that you would be able to speak to. But even during the course of the 4 years, I think that it's something that it would be helpful with students to gain and build trust with this organization that we are on your side. Because it's hard to come from a background where you're not allowed to speak up for yourself and that obedience is demanded of you, and then come into an environment where, now you're an adult and you can just do whatever you want to, but you weren't raised that way and you weren't conditioned to think that way. And so it takes years. It takes women sometimes until we get to the age of 35 before we understand, wow, I'm actually a human being with my own mind, or older. And so I think that part of that process should be ongoing and continuous to gain and build that trust in this committee. And I think that maybe that's one of the ways that we'll begin to able to see an uptick in reporting.
So if I'm to understand what you're saying, Malaika, because we understand that there are actually 92% of harassment cases that are not reported at all. This goes just beyond dealing with the case when it comes before a committee like Dr. Amakwehini's committee, right?
I think so, but is there a follow-up to the question?
Yeah, I'm just thinking that perhaps because we've been talking about the work of the committee and when cases come and why cases don't come, but it looks to me like it's a cultural issue and it's bigger than just reporting cases and handling them when they are reported, isn't it?
Absolutely, I agree. It's absolutely a cultural issue, because look at some of the things that we were discussing earlier off air, sex but beyond sex for grades, sex for jobs. The first thing we accuse a woman of when she gets into a higher position is that she slept her way to the top.
And unfortunately, we had some students say things like that they are guys, they work hard and they can't stand to see women do better because they've been having sex with lecturers.
Exactly. And I mean, how much sex are these lecturers supposed to be having on campus for every woman that's an overachiever, to get to the top? I mean, it's just absolutely ridiculous, But I mean, beyond this, we have sex for grades, we have sex for jobs, we have sex for blessings. Come and let me bless you, feel your breast and the Lord will anoint you, through me touching your breast. It's absolutely insane. And so we have a seriously sick culture when it comes to sex beyond grades, but it informs everything that we do. And for a culture that's supposed to be so moral, I think it's something that we need to really look at internally and have serious conversations about, which is what we do on Adventures.
Nice. Would have that conversation before we go. But Doc, knowing that it's the lack of reporting with this 92% of harassment cases not being reported, it's a general issue. Are there any plans you have to improve the environment of the university, looking at this statistic?
What do you mean by the environment of the university?
Because we've been able to establish in this conversation that it's a cultural issue. It's bigger than cases coming to your committee. It's how we think. It's even outside the school. So the general environment of the school should be more welcoming to students. It should be more empowering for the females and the males as well, so that they would know that what is happening is wrong and they can come to your committee. So are there any plans in that direction?
Yes, it's always work in progress. At our last meeting, we were discussing whether we could use PS, as you mentioned, because you have a few students who are bold enough to kind of infect their colleagues with the level of boldness that they have. And we felt that would be a better approach than to sit back, especially when you realize that many of the cases that come to you, an adult will just tell you, go and report to this committee. Or they will come to you and report, and you tell them, encourage her to report. Because we normally want the victim to be the one who is reporting to us. We've had heads of department come to us and say, this student of mine is being harassed. And then we say, encourage her to report. And they do report, okay? So we're thinking along those lines of having peers counseling each other and getting them involved. But the problem we have, for instance, is that I was talking about membership of the committee. There's supposed to be one from the SRC. There's supposed to be one from GRASAG, as well as all the constituencies on campus. But we haven't found anyone representing SRC.
Really?
Nobody representing GRASAG. We write to them every year because we know that every year the leadership changes hands. They won't take it up. And I don't want to tell you the reason they give behind the scenes. No, I won't tell you. I won't tell you.
Is it money?
You know what it is. They said they're not going to be paid. And this is not a paid position. Nobody is paid on the committee to do this work. Okay? Ever since I've been on the committee since 2016, I haven't seen a GRASAC rep, I haven't seen an SRC rep. And the secretary writes to them every year, and sometimes twice a year, we're waiting for your rep. One of the interesting things, the president, I don't know whether it was of GRASAC or SRC, told her, the ladies are refusing to join your committee. He said it's not a ladies' matter. I don't know why when they hear gender, it's about ladies. He said it's not a ladies' matter. Anybody who is sensitized enough can join us. And we are still waiting. So, it's general malaise in the society, and I really don't know how we can get around this. But we want to start with the peers and see whether maybe the peers will help. But if the whole SRC cannot get a rep, then you see the situation we find ourselves in.
Malika, we should spend the next 2 hours or so. We don't have that, but
no, we don't.
We should probably spend the next 2 hours discussing why this is the case, shouldn't we?
We should, yeah.
I mean, what do you think is the real problem?
Oh gosh, you've asked the question, as my uncle will say. I think that to just at the foundational level, I have a friend that always says this. She said, it's just down to poverty. You. It's a matrix of things. I don't know if it's one particular thing, but you're talking about an institution that's like, we're not going to be joining or participating in this unless we've been paid.
Yeah.
And how much are you looking for to what is the value of student safety in CD terms, dollar terms? What are you looking for that will get you on board to preserve life? Because we don't think about the ripple effects of this. This goes beyond sexual harassment on campus, because one of the ladies that was on the documentary that was screened talked about how she attempted to take her life 4 times.
Yeah.
4 times.
Yeah.
And you think that this is a one-off incident that happens on campus, and then once you drop out, you graduate, then that's the end of the story. But it absolutely isn't. So what's the value of that life to you, SRC member, in CD terms, for you to get on board and help these students? And because it affects us as a nation. It's a national crisis. So yeah, it's poverty. You are poor in pocket and in mind and spirit.
There's also that in the latest Afrobarometer report, when Ghanaians were asked the top issues from the SDGs that their government should focus on, 0 chose gender. So, and we know. I mean, I host the morning show.
Wait, 0?
Yeah, 0%.
Not even like 0.01, just 0.
They didn't round. They gave us the round figures.
Okay.
Yeah, so it was definitely less than 0.5%. Yeah, in the summary that I read, and it seems like there's a general apathy or a lethargy towards issues that have to do with gender and gender-based violence, isn't there?
It's just because we reduce it to women. Anybody hears gender and it's about women.
Right.
And I ask, don't you have a gender? Gender is women, and therefore people don't see why they should concern themselves with affairs of women. Let the women handle it. So that's where we are.
But are the women handling it?
The women are half of our population.
More than half.
Well, just slightly more. Just a little more than
51%.
half.
That's more.
And we need both males and females to work together, because issues of gender, you don't limit it to one sex,
right,
and think that that's enough for them to handle.
Right.
It's 2 minutes to the top of the hour. This is the Super Morning Show on Joy 99.7 FM. I think it's a ripe time to bring in our listeners on this issue. We've been talking about what the UG has been doing specifically about this documentary that we saw. We've also been talking about what UG has been doing generally to make sure that the campus space is safer for students. And some shocking revelations have come up. The first thing that knocked me out was the fact that only 6 cases have been dealt with by the committee since the beginning of this year. And the work of the committee seems to be hampered by a number of factors, a myriad of factors. I wonder who you think is responsible. And we've also come to the fact that even the SRC, reality check, which is voted for by the students. So this is the President Akufo-Addo on KNUST, that's my school, that's why I mentioned it, on University of Ghana campus, who is saying that, look, it doesn't matter enough to me to put someone on the committee that defends students who are sexually harassed. So if you don't give us money, we won't come. 0244-340-437. We've been joined by a lecturer of Webster University, a good friend of mine who I had to wait for a radio show to reconnect with Eli Tete. Good morning, Eli.
Good morning.
How's everything?
Well, thanks.
We'll give Eli a minute to settle down. It's time for the Joy Business Minute. We'll take a few more messages and then he'll chip in whilst you are calling. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Good morning. Here's the Joy Business Minutes.
Daryl and Karen with the latest.
The receiver for liquidated savings and loans companies has again extended time for depositors to submit all documents regarding how much they're being owed. Eric Nananikwa is threatening legal action against persons owing these collapsed institutions.
The Ghana Union of Traders Association has described the recent closure of the Nigeria-Benin border by the government of Nigeria as an outright breach of ECOWAS treaties. The situation has affected trading.
President of the Ghana Association of Bankers, Alhassan Ndani, has declared his support for Bank of Ghana to control the flow of foreign currency in the country. According to him, the move will help the private sector and the commercial banks to plan ahead in making a foreign exchange decision.
And Hong Kong Stock Exchange has dropped its multi-billion-dollar bid for the prized London Stock Exchange. The bid was worth $40 billion.
More news later
at 3:06.
Good day, my one and only human resource manager.
Good day, Abna.
It just occurred to me, now that our colleague is no more, what's going to happen to his wife and children?
Oh, that one. The company has the unique Glyco Group comprehensive insurance cover for staff. And the good news is that Glyco Life has already paid a claim for our late colleague, so his family will be well taken care of financially.
Wow, this is so relieving to hear.
Yes, the Glyco Group comprehensive plan provides a 24-hour adequate group life cover for employees or members of associations. Should any employee be injured in an accident, suffer disability, terminal diseases like heart attack, stroke, kidney failure, or even death, Glyco Group comprehensive plan will pay substantial benefits to them or their beneficiaries. Moreover, the plan also takes care of our company's legal liability under the Workmen's Compensation Act. Abna, close your mouth.
Amazing. Keep up the good work.
So, my fellow corporate human resource managers and executives, call Glyco Life on 020-222-113 or 050-125-6336. Email to customer services at glycogroup.com or grouplife@glycolife.com to have your employees covered under the Glyco Group Comprehensive Plan.
Okay, our last caller is on the line.
Hey, Mr. Presenter, I don't understand how I take out my own money to buy credit. Then when I buy it, the people say I have to use it by a certain time, otherwise they will take it away. I mean, how? I should be able to keep it as long as I want. At the end, it's only expiry. It's not about.
All right, thank you. Now let's take a message from our sponsors.
Switch to Airtel Tigo. Get Fuse, the only call and data bundle with no expiry. So time no be problem. Call all networks and browse with Airtel Tigo Fuse. Dial *567# to bundle.
Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
In partnership with Joy FM, the National Theatre, Government Productions presents Animal White Play, Not My Husband.
We will need you to donate some blood for her. Oh, gladly.
Please test his blood first. He has HIV/AIDS.
Ha! Then you gave it to me.
A poor man, so have you forgotten that when you married me, I was a virgin? I don't have AIDS.
A virgin, you say? Have you forgotten that on our honeymoon, when you stripped, there was echo everywhere and darkness had covered the face of the deep and the wind was blowing. I say, hey, Manso, where are you? I am here. Yeah! Virgin indeed.
Not My Husband shows on 5th, 6th, 12th and 13th October at the National Theatre. Rate 80 Ghana Cedi. Time 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. Tickets available via short code *713*15# or *876*876# or visit Joy FM and all usual outlets. Sponsors: Bond Savings and Loan, Old Mutual and Passion Air. Official ticketing partner, Ticket House. Buy your tickets now.
Foreman, how can I say the screening be smooth, perfect, where it drive fast like that?
Contractor, I always tell you say interface self-leveling screen be the best solution. It drive fast, where they make the job neat. In fact, it pass analog. This be original digital interface self-leveling screen.
Hey, babe, I hear you, Interface man.
Interface Limited is the leading supplier and installer of finishing input materials for the building and construction industry in Ghana. Call us on 0274-999999 or visit our website at www.interfacelimited.com.
Ghana 4 Don't miss out on the exciting launch of our new collections starting this week. Casa Trasacco is packed with a new full range of exclusive furniture of the best Italian quality at unbeatable prices that will make you dance all the way home. Visit our expansive showroom and feast your eyes on remarkable kitchens, living room, bedroom, dining and sofa sets that will make any space beautifully unique and make you feel right at home. So don't waste time. Come and visit our showroom located on the Spintex Road behind the Bar Mall. Share the good news and tell a friend to tell a friend. Casa Trasacco, a part of all of us.
The 28th Airports Council International Conference, ACI Africa Annual General Assembly and Regional Conference and Exhibition comes off at the Kempinski Hotel, Accra for the second time in Ghana from 12th to 18th October 2019.
Theme: Smart Airports of the Future. Are we ready?
The 7-day conference and exhibition will bring together over 300 delegates from all over the world, including Director General ACI World Angela Gittins and Secretary General ACI Africa Ali Tunsi. Guest of honor, President of the Republic of Ghana Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo.
It will be 7 days of sharing knowledge and networking. The 28th Airports Council International Conference and Exhibition is proudly hosted by Ghana Airports Company Limited. Proud sponsors: GOIL,
Supertech Limited,
partners Puma Energy,
DDP Outdoor,
Africa World Airlines,
Ghana Civil Aviation Authority,
Ministry of Aviation,
Zenith Bank Ghana Limited,
Rovins Consult Ghana,
Ghana Tourism Authority,
others: Casapreco Company Limited,
Brenner Mineral Water,
St. Michael Car Rental,
South African Airways,
Royal Air Maroc,
Kenya Airways,
and Egypt Air.
Coffee in your cup and Joy on the set. The Super Morning Show is always the best bet on Joy 99.7 FM.
Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. Ooh, Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. Every day I wonder why my daddy had to be the one to take away my innocence. Oh.
Asking, the song is Daddy by Queen Ifrica.
Supposed to be my father.
0244340437. I was subjected to sexual harassment by doctor I can't name now. When I was at the University of Ghana, I always wanted an opportunity to expose him.
Can't hide no more, no, you have to meet your karma.
Please, it's more than a student's matter, it's a lecturer's matter as well. In fact, the things I see our girls do for grades, I really wonder how these lecturers manage to survive. Massa, it's serious, so bright. Don't you think it comes with the territory and you should be a disciplined adult?
Neighbor, Daddy, don't touch me there. I'm gonna tell on you one day, I swear. Can't you see I'm scared? You're supposed to be my father. Ooh, Daddy.
Daniel, the university is again hiding behind technicalities to, as usual, water down this disgraceful behavior of these predatory lecturers in our universities and other tertiary institutions. They should quickly investigate and smoke out those bad lecturers because our daughters are really suffering in silence.
The rope, if you not try, so wipe that tears there from your eye, get the wings of confidence.
Keep those messages coming on 0244340437. You can enjoy 50 megabytes worth of free data to browse your favorite sites everywhere you go. So call your loved ones. You can call us on Joy FM. You only pay for the first minute of your call on MTN free after one. The rest of your call is free. Then enjoy 50 megabytes of data to browse your favorite sites, or when you want to WhatsApp us on the show or stream us live, just dial *315# to sign up now. We there for you everywhere you go. Now, at APSA, we always strive to keep you ahead. We invested $500 million into tech to make future possibilities a present reality. We also collaborate with you to provide you with modern award-winning banking solutions. Welcome to APSA Group Limited, proudly serving you in Ghana as Barclays.
Not fair. Stop.
So let me give Ellie an opportunity to comment on this matter before I open the phone lines. Ellie, your general impression of what you've heard so far?
So I would say it's important to zoom out from the specific instances that are being highlighted here to the fact that there is a systemic issue. And so whether or not the investigations into these specific lecturers being named go through and go forward and, come to some kind of conclusion, at the end of the day, so many of us are aware that this is a problem. So many of us are aware that even forget university, that in general in our society, we have a culture of harassment. We have a problem with rape culture. We have a problem with the way we view women, with the way we view victims of abuse, the attitude we take towards interrogating and holding a default skepticism towards people who come forward with these stories, the way we value the powerful and those in authority. And so people talk about the poor individuals who are going to have their reputations tarnished, even though time and time again these allegations are made and people remain in these positions. And so I think we need to be realistic about the fact that this is much more about a societal issue than individual people.
So what must we do if you're going to proffer solutions?
So given that I'm a teacher, my leaning is towards education. My leaning is towards raising the consciousness right from the earliest ages. And so I feel like the way we train both men and women in this society is problematic. We don't raise our children with an understanding of consent. We don't raise our children with understandings of boundaries. One small example is it's often considered cute when a young boy is harassing a girl and we tell the girl that, oh, this is how this boy is showing interest in you. As opposed to, no, your body is your own and you should be able to decide who gets to touch you, who gets to engage with you, etc., etc. And so I feel like we need to work on how we socialize our youngest right from the very beginning so that these people don't grow up to be people in positions of power who abuse that power.
It's better to train a child than to repair an adult.
Absolutely.
But what happens to the adult population?
So in that case, I think that's where we have bodies like the ones holding the Legon campus accountable.
Okay.
And you have leadership who has to show that they are engaged on this matter, that they care about the situation. Because if people think both on the lecturer side, oh, there aren't going to be significant consequences, and maybe, yes, some people care about this, but it doesn't go all the way to the top, then people are going to act as if they have impunity, even if they don't. And so you need a message to be sent right from the highest levels of leadership that we care about this, we are paying attention to this, we side with survivors and victims, and we have a no tolerance policy.
Right, Eli Tete with his thoughts there. Eli is a lecturer at Webster University. Kwesi Boateng says, well done to panelists articulating gender issues beyond women. It takes both ladies and gentlemen to explode this myth that the gender issue is solely on the domain of women and girls. He's texting from Tema. Well, let me ask you what you think. You've heard of the Anti-Sexual Harassment Committee of the University of Ghana. Tell us your experience and how you think we can rid our schools of sexual harassment, whether you're alumnus or alumni of UG or not. Just call us and talk to us about how you think we can rid our school of this canker of sexual harassment. Whilst my first caller comes in, it's 0302-216-541, 0244-340-437. Whilst my first caller comes in, Doc, When a lecturer is found culpable, what's the highest punishment that can be meted out to them?
Dismissal.
Has that happened this year?
Oh, this year, no. No, when you say this year, from January.
Yes. I'm asking calendar.
Yes.
Oh, okay. How many?
Yes.
Oh, well, we know the number of cases, but oh, okay. So, what constitutes the severity? Can you, for instance, tell us the nature of that case?
Without naming names, right? So you have.
But if he's been found culpable,
well,
anyway,
it's not within the context of the committee to name names. Okay, so this person, a student alleges that she was harassed, and the nature of it was that she found herself in. Well, let me just go straight to it. He invites her to his office, locks the door, and the rest of it, I'll leave it to you. And she wept all through, pleading for her life and all that. Finally, she cried to the point that I think people outside could hear her crying. So he was forced to open the door. And so initially, she wouldn't come and report to us. So she reported to another lecturer's wife that she was close to. So she said, let's go and report this to the committee. So she brought her and we said, go and put it in writing. And he had a few months to the end of his term as a lecturer.
He was about to retire.
But he was dismissed.
Was he made a criminal case? Looking at how it is.
Well, it wasn't criminal because he didn't rape her. If he had raped her, we would have made it a criminal case. But he didn't rape her. But he harassed her to the point that she was so miserable and didn't think there was any help for her. And what really touched us was that this girl said she grew up without a father figure in her life. And so always saw her lecturers as her fathers. And could you do this to your daughter? And when there was a face-off, actually she asked him, would you ever do this to your daughter? Wow. So this is the kind of case that will give you dismissal.
Okay. Can one sue the perpetrator as well?
Well, that's up to the victim. The university does what it wants to do. In fact, in the case of even rape, we handle it at our angle and we ask you to report to the police as well.
Okay.
So
in this case, because even for the harassment case, there is an element where you can go to the authority. You can go to the police.
You can go to the police if you think you have enough evidence to go to the police. We don't stop you.
Can I ask, do you support the students in that measure?
We do.
Okay.
We do. We support them.
Okay.
We support them in that measure. Whatever support that they need, we provide for them. Especially when it has to do with emotional support. We do.
Okay.
We do. Because we were talking about young people coming to the university. You have somebody who appears before us and something as mundane as thinking that in the morning somebody will sound a siren for her to wake up. So she said she was sleeping. People returned from lectures and were asking, why are you still here? I said, I haven't heard the siren. I said, well, there's no siren at the university level. Okay, so it takes them some time to adjust to maturity. They think they are still at the secondary school where they are sheltered kind of by their teachers. In the university, there's some level of freedom. And so these are people who need to be gradually ushered into the kind of free atmosphere that the university setting provides. Okay. And so, yes, we provide them with support.
Okay. Do we have any university security officials serving on the anti-harassment, sexual harassment committee?
You mean security?
Yeah, is the security apparatus of the university represented on the committee?
No. Right now, no, they are not represented. But the security belong to any of the unions, either TEU or FUSAG. Okay, so the university has constituencies. Let me put it that way.
Yes.
So you have TEU representing the junior staff. Then you have FUSAG, the senior staff. Then you have GAWA, the senior staff at the administrative core. And these are all represented. Then you have UTAG represented. And so the security could be the representative of TEU or whatever. But right now, the representative is not from security. And then we have somebody from psychology. And we have somebody from the law faculty. And then we have somebody from the legal counsel's office. And so you have a committee of, we used to be 14. In fact, the document says 14. But from last year or so, we added a 15th member. And this was from the International Programs Office.
Apart from the SRC and GRASAG, do you have all your members?
We
Are
have
you fully
all our
constituted?
members. We have all our members except the students.
Except the students. Another irony there. It's 20 minutes past 9. Let me pick my first caller. It's Kwame from Kumasi. Good morning, Kwame.
Good morning, Dazi, Daniel. How are you doing?
I am blessed. How are you doing?
It's great. I'm one of the tertiary institutions in Kumasi, and like last time we were standing on campus, and then the lady was crying, and the priest was like, she knew she passed, and then to the extent that she even wrote a receipt. But the lecturer is saying that if she doesn't sleep with her, she's going to trill that particular course. To the extent we even reported to the SRC executives, and then not knowing one of the executives is related to the said lecturer, they had to cover it up. And up to now, the lady has trilled the course, the particular course. To the extent that the lady is even fed up with school.
Who else has the lady reported to?
The lady now fears that she doesn't trust anyone more than any of the authorities.
Kwame, give your number to Sami, who is behind. We would like to speak with this lady and forward it to the persons who should deal with it. Thank you very much for calling. So don't hang up. Give your number to Sami.
Okay.
Jonathan is on the line from Legon, University of Ghana. Jonathan, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, Daniel.
Yes, let's hear you.
Yes, the lady in the studio spoke very well. That's the one on the gender committee or the chairperson. Congratulations to her. She did very well. You know, these issues are rampant anyway, and it's both sides. Both sexes are affected. So I was wondering why DBC would give money out for investigators to come and do only the woman angle. You know, it's always trying to play the victim on our psychology. It's not always so. Anyway, the Webster guy is also there, and Webster we know very well is a university from the UK. I was expecting him to tell us their own sexual harassment policies and cases as well, because it's a human institution. In the UK, these things happen.
Jonathan,
but you don't find the BBC going to the university to do this. No.
Jonathan, give me just a moment. I want to make a factual correction on something that you are saying. So just give me a moment. I'll let you talk. Webster is from St. Louis, Missouri. They are based in the US, not the UK.
Okay, thank you for the correction. But then again, they would also, because these things, we have to be discerning, and we are discerning listeners of Joy FM, and I use analysis to do all of these things. See, they are targeting African universities. If we watch the documentary carefully, why were they showing University of Ghana campus with the logo? Even when it comes to Ghana, they showed the Ghana flag. That is a dent on our reputation, you know. And the University of Ghana, all the BAM library, everything that represents the university is shown. Why must it be so? Why don't you just target those professors that you are targeting? Because these things, I mean, it's even entrapment in the first place. Journalism, for me, has been lowered so much. And this is a Western agenda that we also must peruse. We cannot just assume that because it's the BBC, it's African eye, it's correct. Why? Who told you that Oxford University and all the universities there, they don't have these issues there? Do you ever see them projecting these things, using the university's logos, everything, and the compound is shown? Look at the angle that they show the University of Ghana. Because University of Ghana is ranked. The ranking is going high, and then you have to find a way to lower it. I am not saying that sexual harassment doesn't happen. Well, the evidence is there. People are speaking against it. But this is not the way to go about the journalism.
How should they have gone about it, Jonathan?
No, let me tell you. I have read a lot of investigative pieces. What do? You let the things happen in their natural environment. For instance, they take sex for grade.
Okay,
right?
so you believe they should have allowed ladies to be sexually harassed in their natural environment and then report on it? Okay. Hawa is on the line from Kolebu. Good morning, Hawa.
Yes, good morning, Daniel.
Hawa, let's hear you.
Yes, so I wanted to confirm that this harassment at our various universities really exists. I completed University of Ghana 2008. I did math, statistics, and computer science. And I remember I had this actuarial statistics lecturer, level 400. It's a 4-credit hour course, who wanted me, and I didn't actually give him the chance. Daniel, he will make sure that you don't get the grade. Though everybody knows you are a very, very clever student. How can you get your math A and you wouldn't get actuarial statistics the right marks? But what happened? I spoke to one lecturer who I saw as a father figure, and he told me that, in fact, I will just be worrying myself and I'll end up complicating issue. So I should just, make sure I don't give myself up. But then I should just keep trying. And that was what happened till I completed school. And interestingly, I got so surprised that even after school, this lecturer was still pursuing me till I decided to report him, and then he stopped, bothering me. And it's not because of the way sometimes students, dress. It's just a thing to say in our local language as said, Akono Boni.
Thank you very much for calling us, Hawa from Kolebu. Emmanuel is on the line from Sominga. Good morning, Ima.
Hello, good morning, sir. How are you?
I am blessed. How are you?
I'm also doing well. I think I'll give kudos to the BBC for what they have done. And I'll give kudos also to the Nigeria University. I think this is what the special prosecutor has been saying. These people that they are involved in our university in Ghana here, they need to step aside for proper investigations. You see, if they are not they are not being able to step aside, how can they give a thorough investigation to this matter? You see, so they need to step aside. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Emmanuel from Sominga. Nana Frimpong from Snake Flats in Dansuman says, Daniel, please tell Professor Jambo not to try to go to court. He made inappropriate sexual overtures to the lady that is a supposed student of his university. He should rather be apologetic. Emmanuel from East Legon is on the line. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, boss.
Yes, boss.
I'm on the program, please.
Yes, you're on it. Let's hear you.
Yeah, please. What I want is we are disgracing ourselves as a Ghanaian. Why is it that we allow the BBC to come and do all those things in our country? Can a journalist in Ghana go to US, France, whatever, to go and do such an investigation over there? He is not allowed. Why are we disgracing ourselves? This thing has been on for a longer time. Even though it's no good, we are trying ways and means to avoid it. The best thing in my solution is either we can separate the female students and the male students in one side. And at the same time, there are lots of female lecturers influence with the male students. So what about all those things? Those things are supposed to come out. A female lecturer is interested in the male students, whereby they are doing all those things. I've been a victim before when I was in the university. My lecturer is always interested in me to go and have fun with. And I made up my mind I will not do it. He keep on failing me in my papers. One day that I go down on my knees and beg on him for what he's doing is not good, before he accepted it. So these are some of the things that we need to do. We are disgracing ourselves as a country, even though what the lecturer did is not good. But it's not all that we're supposed to let the foreigners to come and investigate our system for us.
So how should we have stopped the BBC from doing the investigation?
You are asking me a question that how should I stop this?
Yeah, how could we have stopped a media house from investigating what is happening in Ghana?
We have so many ways to stop them.
Can you give me one?
I can't give you one, but can I ask a question? Can we also allow our journalists to go to BBC or UK to go and do such investigation over there?
Does Joy have a relevant or home audience in the UK in the first place? But anyway, I went to the UK recently. I interviewed persons living there. I did stories from there. Let me pick Henry Bedu's call from La. Good morning, Henry.
Good morning, Daddy. This is Henry Odum, actually.
Henry Odum, thank you.
Yes.
Let's hear you.
I think that to answer the last guy, the one who just left, yes, journalists can go outside. We are here. And we've seen enough going outside of this country doing undercover journalism. So it is yes. What is journalism? It's you bringing out the on-earth stories that are hidden. So he can do the same thing. If you don't have the resource to go outside to go and do it, you can't prevent someone not to come here to come and do it. For me, I decided not to even comment about this thing. But when I hear people defending this undefendable video, I find it very mind-boggling. They should be ashamed of all those defending. I'm suspecting they are all practicing the same thing. If not, you won't defend. I have a daughter. And I don't think I will allow anyone to do such a thing to her. So they should just keep quiet and let us allow the law to deal with this person.
Henry, thanks for calling. Jackson is on the line from Cape Coast. Good morning, Jackson.
Morning, Daniel.
It's been a while since you called us, Jackson.
Yes, Daniel, you're welcome back from BBC too.
Thank you. Please go ahead.
Yeah. Daniel, sometimes I'm surprised about some of Ghanaians, the way they react to this issue. Because we all can remember at the time the GFA issue came, some of these lecturers support the BBC. And today they are daring BBC that what they have done is not good, or what they bring out is not factual and those kind of things. This thing is not going only in our university, even our workplace, in our secondary school. But for me, my worry is that in the university, some of the ladies who do this, and they get their first class and those second class, they get position in our workplace. Some are leaders, they take decision for this country. Meanwhile, the decision they are taking, or whatever they are doing, they don't know anything about it. Because they go and do those things and get their degree. May God help Ghana and help this nation. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Jackson believes it has an effect on our output and productivity as a country. Isaac is on the line from DC. Good morning, Isaac.
Hello. Good morning.
Yes, Isaac, let's hear you.
Yes, Daniel, I've been following the conversation, and I realize that people want to provide an excuse for those who misconducted themselves in this video by saying that the theme for the video, which is sex for grades, was not really captured by the content of the video. And that's really ridiculous, because the whole idea is to get a theme, but the theme is not supposed to be entirely captured. There are various angles within which was captured within the video. In the video, you see sexual harassment. You can see grooming. You can see a clear case of where a lecturer is saying that someone who's not a student of his, he cannot give admission to the person if the person agrees to his sexual overtures. These are clearly misconduct on the part of the lecturers, which they know. They are clearly aware. And let's come to the situation about BBC is trying to do a sting operation on Ghana. See, there's been a few people have published some articles online where schools in the United Kingdom and the US have been caught in the same situation. If you go deeper, you will realize that those lecturers who were involved in those situations, they were either prosecuted, they were sacked, some were suspended, actions were taken against them. You get it?
Mm-hmm.
So it's not as though the white man wants to do a sting operation on the black man, as people who wants to give defense to these lecturers are trying to do. When you come to a situation in the UK, for instance, in the situation of Adam Johnson, the footballer,
mm-hmm.
when the operation happened, he was jailed. Okay? How did it happen? They only used text messages of conversation that he had with the little girl. And they concluded that he had misconducted himself, and he was jailed 4 years. You get it? But in Ghana, we want to see what a definition of sex for grades means in a video before we take action.
So you're looking at it as a general concept, like the sex for grades being a general concept within which we find these different illegal activities happening.
Yes, exactly.
That's a very interesting way to look at it. Selom is on the line from Jamestown. He's our last caller. Good morning, Selom.
Good morning, sir.
Yes, let's hear you.
Yeah, I want to contribute on the topic.
Of course, please do.
Have you ever heard of the phrase, we will use what we have to get what we want? Have you been hearing on campus?
I've heard the phrase before.
Okay. You see, it's a two-way affair. And I am not, most of the time, a fan of those who, from the Western world, who demonize all the activities that we have in our Ghana here, or in Africa. They think that everything that they practice in their country and they bring it out to here, we should swallow it hook, line, and sinker. There are problems. From the beginning, some of us complained that the way ladies were dressing at the university and so forth, was not okay. It should be decent and so on. They said no. They have their individual rights. Their body belongs to them, so they can expose it. All these issues were there. They brought about. Now there are problems there. Even what we hear about the lectures we are talking about, these are only suspicious. They are suspect until they are proven guilty. They are only. But the way we are carrying the discussion, as if we call the person live, engaging in activities, and so on and so on and so forth. Please, if this thing will be stopped, advise the ladies when they qualify for any institution or so, they should learn instead of thinking that they will be lazy and playing around and thinking that somebody should come and award them grief. All these things.
So Selim, for this lecturer who was described for us by Dr. Mwakohini, whom the student was begging in the classroom, was begging in his office and was crying and screaming, you believe that this student didn't learn, and so she wanted to do something?
I am not defending any lecturer.
Oh, I'm glad you're not defending any lecturer. Thank you very much, Selim, for joining us. It's 25 minutes to the top of the hour. How time flies when you're having an insightful conversation. I'm gonna come to my guests for a minute comment each as we close the discussion. Beginning with you. Okay, I'll allow Doc to finish. So beginning with you, Ellie.
Sure. So first of all, I was going to address the comment about Webster and other foreign institutions and their involvement in this situation. I think as people who have the legacy of colonialism hanging over our heads, we are always worried about looking shameful in front of the other. And I think that that's something we need to get over and need to get past. Yes, Webster has policies, and those policies are on its website. Anyone can look them up. I'm not here to make a spirited defense of any institution. Mm-hmm. But when a person is ill and they have an illness, a disorder, a disease, they have to go and get a diagnosis. And that means being checked out. That means some uncomfortable procedures you submitting yourself to, and that means you being realistic about what you're suffering from. I think that we need to stop worrying about how embarrassing or problematic this might look, because the appearance is nothing compared to the actuality of what is happening. And that is where our concern should be. We should have empathy for the lives that are being destroyed by this behavior, the people who are being traumatized and who are going to have to go through life going forward, wrestling with the legacy of what they have encountered and been through. And so my encouragement to all of us is to shift our focus there, and rather than being so worried about reputation and how it appears, let's actually deal with the matters on hand.
Thanks, Ellie. And Malika?
I'm really upset with Ellie because he took everything I was going to say and said it so eloquently, but it's fine because I'll repeat it. It doesn't matter. I would say that we just need to stop worrying about saving face and begin worrying about saving our lives. Just like Ellie was saying, because at the end of the day, it's all about, we're so concerned with how we're going to appear in the UK or the US and tarnishing the image of Ghana. Like the caller that called in was concerned about the Ghana flag and all. It's part of our identity, whether we like it or yes, it just is a part of our identity, and it's something that we need to grapple with. And then I also appreciate one of the other callers that called in and talked about this being a wider gender issue, just like Doc was saying. And I would like to encourage men to speak up on behalf of other men, and not just cis hetero men. Speak up for men who present as more effeminate, who are subject to harassment of a sort as well, who have their masculinity called into question. Speak up for them as well. Don't just leave this as a women's issue. This is a human issue. And men, just don't wait for feminists to come and speak up on this issue. You guys talk about this as well, because it affects your brothers, it affects your sons, it affects your friends. And it also leads into this culture of depression that we deny exists as well. And yeah, I'm just going to also encourage us to stop worrying about semantics and talk about the actual policies.
Thank you very much, Malika. It's been an insightful morning with you. Finally, Doc, to you. Can I ask this question before your final comments? When should we expect, if there will be, an interdiction of these lectures?
Well, I would expect the university statement to talk about that. And I think that will be a statement today from the University of Ghana.
Will they be asked to step aside?
I don't know.
When is the statement coming out?
It should come today.
So we
Today,
are expecting an official university action on this today?
Certainly, yes. The university is going to respond to everything that has happened and to let the Ghanaian public know what it's doing beyond this point.
Okay.
And so, yes, expect something from the University of Ghana. But I just want to end on just 3 quick points. To establish the fact that every lady who gets an A or who gets first class has not slept with a lecturer. And it's so wrong for people to think that for ladies to excel, they must have sold their bodies. They have their bodies, they don't sell them. Because we know girls who are doing so well. And if you want to track that, start from the elementary level and just visit speech and prize giving days at schools and see how many girls are excelling. Okay, they don't need to sell themselves. Secondly, to say that our students have support if they are in any kind of danger. And one of the places that I didn't mention earlier, they can talk to their tutors because every student has a tutor. They can talk to their hall senior tutors, their hall masters. So assuming the senior tutor is the one who's harassing you, you go to the department side, you have a head of department, you have a dean, you have a provost. So talk to somebody. There's always somebody to talk to. They don't need to suffer in silence. And the university is up to the task of weeding out undesirable elements and to be sure that students, staff study and they work in a very congenial atmosphere that gives them respect and dignity, recognizes that they have come there as human beings and not as sex objects for anybody to use.
Thank you very much, Dr. Margaret Amwakohene. She's chair for the Anti-Sexual Harassment Committee of the University of Ghana, Legon. You're still live on the Super Morning Show at Joy 99.7 FM. I need to also thank my other guests who were gracious enough to join us this morning. Eli Tete is a writer, editor, and lecturer